In this episode, I'm coming to you from Circuit of the Americas. Let's go. You're probably wondering, I wonder if you tried getting on the track. And of course I did. They said no. Apparently, Voltron doesn't carry the same clout as Valentino Rossi or Lewis Hamilton. Whatever, I digress. This episode is about this bike here and the parts on it from Midwest Mini Mods. If you guys check out their website, be sure to enter Voltron at checkout for $120 off the swing arm kit from their website. And that's what we're gonna go over today, is the swing arm and the forks. Let's get into it. All right guys, the topic of discussion right now is this swing arm. This is a bolt-on swing arm from Midwest Mini Mods. It is made here in the United States. It is CNC machined out of one piece of aluminum. What this swing arm does is it bolts to your Razor SX and MX bikes. What it allows you to do, this swing arm can accommodate different motors. Typically, you would have to have a swing arm that's designed for one motor or the other. This swing arm can accept an MY1020 style or type of motor, which is going to be like your Kunrays, your Vevers. And for instance, this is a Socian FW11 motor. They all have the same dimensions. But what you can do when ordering, if you go to their website, you can pick from a drop down of a MY1020 style motor. You can pick from a QS120 or a QS90. So when you head over to the website, be sure to check and select the right drop down, because the swing arm is going to come a little bit different depending on the motor type that you say that you have. Another good thing about this is, let's just say you have a QS90 and you have this swing arm and you want to upgrade to a QS120. You don't have to buy a whole new swing arm. All you got to do is ask them for the bolt up kit that's going to allow that motor to bolt to what you already have as far as the swing arm legs go. Another thing to keep in mind if you guys are going to be extending your swing arms or buying an extended swing arm such as this, in this example, this is, like I said earlier, a Socian FW11. It pushes the motor back slightly to make room for the shock right here. What I had to do, if you're going to run your controller under the gas tank up here, kind of how I do mine, I had to extend one of my phase wires in order to make that reach. If you're bolting your controller somewhere else, maybe to the top of the battery or to the back side of this frame, it's a non-issue for you. But just keep that in mind, it does push the motor back slightly. So when you push your wheel back, one thing you have to consider also is your brake lengths. So if your wheel is farther back, your brake is further back, you're gonna need a longer line. And on the website, they have an option for extended brake lines for the rear wheel, as well as the front wheel. Because once you lift the front of the bike or you put a taller front fork on it, you're going to need more length on your brake cable in order to reach that wheel from your lever. So keep that in mind. So when you get your swing arm kit in the mail, it's going to come in pieces. It really just comes in a couple pieces. The two long pieces on the side, this middle piece right here where your shock mounts, and your axle adjusters here. That's all that you have to do to put this thing together. One thing to keep in mind though, if you are going to be screwing in bolts in these areas, be sure to use Loctite. I use the blue Loctite just to be safe. And while we're on the benefits of a swing arm like this, it has rear axle adjustability, right? So with our Razors, a lot of the complaints that we have sometimes is our chain tension or the noise that we're gonna get from the tensioner. With this, you can bolt in the wheel, set your chain tension, lock in the wheel with no tensioner, and then just let it ride. One super slick thing that this brake bracket does here in the back is it's attached at the inside of the swing arm on a slide, almost like a guide. And as you move your axle, your brake bracket goes with it. So that's always a constant measurement. So no matter where your wheel is in space on this swing arm, your brake bracket is going to follow it. So you don't have to worry about getting it dialed in or getting it trued up. It's going to be perfect every single time. One thing worth mentioning, guys, if you have a Socian FW11 motor and you plan on running it in this swing arm, the Socian has these little nubs on the outside of the case right here that the other MY1020 type or style motors do not have. One thing that I had to do on mine, on the side where the chain is, I had to smooth out the cover to get rid of that little nipple that's around the bolt hole where the motor mounts on the right side, just to get a flat surface to put the spacer on. And one thing here too, guys, this shock is on the Midwest Mini Mods website, and this is a 1,000-pound spring. I am about 200 pounds of pure muscle, 200 pounds pure steel, okay? And it's a soft spring, and I tried putting air in it. I have a shock pump. I put 200 pounds up to it, and it didn't really feel any different after I put the air in there. So whether or not the reservoir is an active reservoir or not, I'm not sure. I didn't notice much difference when I put the air to the shock, but I will say it is plush. Moving on to the front of the bike, guys, I want to go over these forks. These forks are also from Midwest Mini Mods. When you order your forks from them, here are a couple things you're going to get. You're going to get the 180 millimeter disc. You're going to get this beautiful, beefy aluminum spacer here for your brake. You're going to get the fork tubes. You're going to get these CNC triple clamps. They're made out of one piece of aluminum right here in the United States. From Minnesota, actually, is where these things come from. You're also going to get the stem bolt that's going to allow you to put these forks on this bike. The process for putting these forks on is very simple. It's pretty much the same as any other fork that we've seen. The ride or die forks or the ENC forks, the Zoom Vault forks. The process is pretty much the same. I have a video list on how to put forks on mini bikes. I'm not gonna go over that in this video here because I've kind of done that already. If you wanna check that out, I'll put a link in the description below. I just want to iterate how nice these forks look. You can tell just by looking at them. Look how classy those are. Enough blabbing. I'm not getting on the track, but I got downtown Austin behind me. Let's go down there, let's ride. Hope I don't get pulled over. Let's go cause some trouble. All right, guys, here we are in downtown Austin. I'm kind of curious. I've never ridden the mini bike in the downtown area. I've never been messed with in South Austin, so you know, we'll see what happens. It's for science and research, so you know, there's a cost if something happens with the police or law enforcement. No biggie. I'll talk my way out of it. I got my speed up here on the GPS for you guys, so you guys know how fast I'm going. First impression, y'all, of the forks and the shock. I've always liked the 630 millimeter length on the front forks. The rear shock might be a little soft for some, especially if you're riding in the dirt and you're doing the jumping and that type of stuff. For me, I'm 40 years old and my back hurts. I've mentioned it in my videos in the past. The shock is soft and plush. I could probably even use a little bit of, maybe a little bit more sturdiness in the shock, but I'm not gonna complain. Like I said earlier, this is a Socian FW11 with an amperage battery, 72 volts, 40 amp hours. Now, running it at about 200 right now, DC in, which is the max on my controller. My controller is at 72, 450, 200 DC in is about the max this thing can take. But how much faster do you need to go, right? What are you doing? You don't have the right of way. You don't have the right of way. You know, the funny thing is about these mini bikes, no one bats an eye at you until you blow past them at 60 miles an hour. I love it. I think my tire's flat. Damn it! Flat tire, son of a bitch. Well, limp this sucker home. All right, guys, well, I guess the fun's over. I guess that maybe means the video's over. At least I got some footage in for you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to check out Midwest Mini Mods for your forks, shocks, swing arms, brakes, gearing, and be sure to enter Voltron at checkout to save $120 on your swing arm kit. Later, dudes. What's up, guys? Coming to you from Circuit of the Americas. I'm fixing to do a review on the Midwest Mini Mods swing arm and fork kit, and I'm fixing to get this bike on the track. Actually, no. I tried getting on the track and they said they had something going on. I'm not getting on the track. Let's try this again. So I wasn't able to get on the track, but I am in the parking lot at Circuit of the Americas, and I get to record in front of the porta potties. least I get to hear the cars.